Hi fashion designer, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you how to make this trouser with elastic waist and side pockets. If you want to know how it's done, stay tuned. So we're going to start by drafting the pattern. I'm going to mark two lines, one horizontal and one vertical, and right here from the side I've left a space of around 4 inches. This line here on top is going to serve as the waist line. And right here, the first thing that we're going to mark is the crotch depth, which you need to sit on a chair and measure from your waist to the surface of the chair. And this line is going to serve as the crotch line. Then we're going to measure from your waist to your hip. At this point, mine is actually 8.5 of an inch. And this line is going to serve as the hip line. For the horizontal measurement, you need to mark quarter of your hip round measurement plus half of an inch for ease. You're going to mark this same measurement on the crotch line and then extend it all the way up to the waist. So now we're going to calculate the crotch extension for the front. You need to take your hip round measurement divided by 20. Mine is about 2.5 of an inch. That's what I'm going to mark. Then you're going to mark on the crotch depth, mark 2 inches, then 1 inch over here, then connect these 3 points. Now to shape the waist, you need to go in by half of an inch, and then you want to reconnect it back to the crotch depth line, and then go down from the waist by half of an inch, and then it's going to be half an inch to 0 on the waist. By doing this, it will actually help so that there will be no excess fabric around the midsection. Now you need to add elastic casing depending on the size of the elastic. Mine is actually 1 inch, which is the same 1 inch I'm going to be adding right on this new waistline. So I'm going to add 1 inch following this new waistline. Right on the side, to remove some excess fabric, I am going to go in by 1.5 inches and then reconnect it back to the hip line. Now it's time to shape the bottom or the legs of the trouser. So by doing this, right from this line, the original waistline, I'm going to mark the full length of my pants, which is going to be 37.5 of an inch. At this point, I am not adding hem allowance yet. It's just a full length, which is 37.5 of an inch. Then I'm going to mark a center line right here on the crotch. I'm going to find the center point and then extend this line all the way down to the full length of the pants. Now on this line, I am going to find a center point, which is going to be the knee line. And then from this point, I'm going to go up or mark up 2 inches. Then go ahead and measure your knee round and divide it into 2. So my knee round divided into 2, it was 10. So I'm going to mark 5 on one side and 5 onto the other side. Now you want to reconnect these 2 points to the crotch. When you do this, make sure you don't curve it in too much on the crotch line. You might as well use a straight line at this point. By doing this, it will also make assure that the trouser actually fits very well along the crotch line. So also on the side, you want to also connect with a straight line. As you can see what I'm doing here on the video. So this is how it is. Now on the ankle, you might as well go ahead and measure your ankle round divided by 2 and do the same way as I did on the knee line. But I don't want it to be too narrow, so I went in by half of an inch on both sides. So now I'm adding half of an inch, 1.5 inch of hemming right here at the bottom. And just like that, your trouser front pattern is complete. Now is go ahead and cut out this front trouser pattern so that you can go ahead and draft the back. To trace the back pattern, I'm going to fold my front pattern right here on the waist. I'm going to mark it here with the red marker, the X. That's where I'm going to fold the pattern. This is the original waistline before we did some changes on the front. So that's where I'm going to fold first. And then go ahead and leave some space on top, including on the side for the back pattern, and then trace around your front pattern. Make sure you mark the lines, the knee line, the crotch line, including the hemming line. Now, once you're done doing this, we need to calculate the back crotch extension. You're going to take your hip round measurement divided by 10. And mine, it says it's 5. So from that line over there, that's when I'm going to place the 5. And then from this point, I'm going to go down by half of an inch. By doing half of an inch, it will assure that your crotch, it sits nicely on your trouser. So from here now, I am going to go in or mark 1.5 inch, which is to add seam allowance. Remember, on the front we did not add any seam. So right here on this area here, I'm going to mark 1 inch above this crotch line. Mark 1 inch. This is to create the crotch curve for the back, and then reconnect all the points together. Now, to cover the back side for the back pattern, you need to go up a little bit by 1.5 inch, and then go ahead now and reconnect it back to the waistline. Don't forget to add 1 inch again for elastic casing, just like you did also for the front pattern. Now for the sides, for the inseam, you're going to add 2 inches. This also includes seam allowance. Go ahead and do that. And your back pattern is complete. For the pocket, it's very easy. You just take a pattern paper, place your hand, and just trace a shape that you are more comfortable with or that you love. Mine actually looks like a glove, so I like it. Now you're going to take your front pattern again and just trim off that excess paper, and you're done. Once I'm done cutting all my pattern pieces, what I like to do is to iron the crotch area. This will help the trouser to sit nice and comfortable around the crotch. So make sure you do this for both the back and the front pattern also. And this is how it will look. So once you're done, take both of your front panel pieces, join them right at the crotch, and sew 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I did the same thing also for the back trouser. Now to attach the pocket, mark 4 inches away from the waist and attach your pins. Now take your pocket, place them right sides facing, right from the pin like this, and sew a straight stitch right on the side. Now I've attached my pocket for both the back and the front panel. It's time to join the two sides, the side panel, the front and the back. On the side, I'm going to sew 1/2 inch seam allowance. Also on the inseam, first make sure that you match the crotch line or the crotch seam, and then go ahead and sew the inseam with 1/2 inch seam allowance. And this is how your trouser will look so far. Now the next thing we need to move on, attaching the waist. For the waist, I did cut the elastic of my waist round circumference, subtract 1 inch, and then I'm going to join them together and sew a zigzag stitch. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark 4 corners on the elastic, because already my trouser has 4 sides, 4 seam sides. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now to connect this elastic on the waist, I'm going to match all the pins. Take to the sewing machine. Make sure when you sew, you stretch your elastic. You can use a zigzag stitch or a serger. And this is how it turned out. Flip the elastic in and sew a straight stitch. And when you do so, stretch the elastic. And this is how it turned out. This is my favorite method. And the last thing is to hem the bottom. You fold 1/2 inch and another 1/2 inch. And I will show you how it turned out. And there we go. I love the outcome of these pants, the elastic pant. They are very comfortable. I decided not to hem the bottom of the trouser because I'm in love with the rough edges. And this pants actually suits the weather because it's so cold this side. I hope you enjoy making this project as much as I did. So see you on the next one.